What was life like in the village growing up?
For me, my childhood was tough, bro. Because I felt neglected. My parents were far away. I would come back from school. Sometimes there's no food.
Sounds like you always had that self-belief growing up. You've traveled to 32 countries in the last 9 months.
34.
34
Yeah,
countries.
so one day I'm going to America, and these guys, they're like, are you crazy, man?
Did they laugh at you at all?
Yeah, they didn't believe. So this is what I'm born to do. This morning I woke up and God, I'm still here, I'm breathing. The reason God wakes you up in the morning, it means there's something special within you.
Vongani, what dreams did you have as a kid?
As a kid, I've always wanted to be an inspiration to others. I remember one key goal was to write a book and also to travel the world, especially going to America, which seemed to be impossible back then. Yeah, so those were some of my dreams, but I had a lot of dreams. Like I've always wanted to do great and to inspire others in life.
And at that time, traveling the world and writing your own book, did it seem like something which was unrealistic?
Yeah, it was, but there was this instinct within me, like something telling me the voice inside, like it seems impossible, but you're definitely gonna do this one day.
I mean,
you know
it sounds like you always had that self-belief growing up.
Yeah, I've always believed in myself, man. Although I would say my life or my pace when it comes to achieving things was kind of like slow, but I've always believed in myself, like one day I'm gonna make it. All the things that I've wanted. Yeah,
So you grew up in Limpopo
yeah.
in a town called Gamajosi.
Kamajosi, it's a village.
What was life like in the village growing up?
Uh, for me, my childhood was tough, bro. Cause my parents were this side in Jovic, waking. So I was staying with them in Deep Sloot in a squatter camp, just one room shack. So I had to go back home to start my primary school and also to grow up there. Yeah, the reason being my parents were scared that I would fall into like bad stuff. Because how thing with for black child it's tough. Yeah, so I had to go back home and I was not living with my parents. I was living with my aunts and my granny, my mom's grandmother. She was, I think, 96 at that age. She was very old. So my aunt sometimes will just go on a groove. So I'll be left alone. So I had to go to neighborhoods so that I'll watch TV, have some meal at night, because my granny couldn't take care of me because she was old. And it's so sad that one of the women who took care of me, she's recently passed on. Last week we were supposed to record this. Remember the story? Yeah, so I had to go attend the funeral. Yeah, it was a painful thing because she played a role in my life. As the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a kid. So you might look at me today, but a lot of people contributed to be where I am today. Like it's not only my parents, but everyone in the village, everyone that I've come across in my whole life. You know,
What
Mm.
did a typical day look like for you in the village?
I would say I was kind of like depressed as a child because I felt neglected. My parents were far away. I would come back from school. Sometimes there's no food, and it was a harsh environment for me. And the only time I'd be happy was when I come to Gauteng, so I'd spend my time with my parents during the school holidays, like Christmas time, but when January comes, it was a problem because I had to think of going back. Now the stress comes again. Yeah, so that was the life.
This podcast has been a dream come true, and I need your help in order to grow the show. If you could do the smallest favor for me, it will be easier than making a cup of coffee. Please go and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. How did people around you respond to you having these big goals and wanting to get out of the village and, write your own book one day and travel the world, which sounded so different to your current circumstances?
I remember 2023 when I was working at the mine as a toilet cleaner. you know, yeah, I'll be sharing my story like, guys, you know what? One day I'm going to America, and these guys, they're like, "Are you crazy, man?"
Did they laugh at you at all?
Yeah, they didn't believe. So yeah, those are the only people I've shared my story with. Yeah, but they didn't believe. So it seemed impossible because I can imagine, bro, you have never had someone close to you who make things happen, who envision things and then they become reality.
And you see people on TV and in magazines, and
Exactly.
you want to become like those people, but you don't always know where to start.
True. As I said, like, this is more like a law of attraction. You attract these things, you speak life into existence. The people you meet, your surrounding, your environment, that's what benefits you to get to where you want to be in life.
So, from a young age, because now you have published a book, and I actually read your book.
Yeah, how was it?
I really enjoyed it. And that's also why I wanted to have this discussion, because I think it's a very inspiring story. But one of the things you mentioned there was you picked up a passion for art from the age of 3. How did that develop?
Well, if I remember well, my mom always says I have a good memory because I always remind her of funny stories, things that she had forgotten way back. Yeah, so she was like a teacher in preschool. Yeah, so she would wake me up, bath me, and then would go to work together because I was studying there. She was working. Yeah, so you remember the coloring books where you would color like animals, plants, and all that. So there was a horse. I started falling in love with colors using the wax crayon seals, oily crayons. Yeah, so I'll just play around using that, and then I started tracing that horse. I remember very well showing it to the owner of that crèche or preschool, and she fell in love with what I've done, and then she started encouraging more. So that's when I developed the love for art, and then also back in 2003 we went to Kruger National Park. And then when we came back, our teacher asked us to draw everything we saw. Then I drew the elephant. It was the most beautiful drawings in class. And then she took it, she pasted it on the wall, and then everybody was loving it. So from there, it encouraged me, and then I just fell in love with art, and then I started realizing, okay, this is what I've I'm born to do, like developing a passion or something that you love. And also during the the period where we were playing Dragon Balls. You remember the
Yes.
Pokemons that you find inside the Simba packets, you know? So I'll just play around during class, you know. Yeah, we'll draw that. Well, what was the characters? Goku,
Yes.
Vegeta, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those kind of characters. So
I
it's fun.
remember that. They used to have small little
Mm.
things within the
Yeah, the
Simba chip.
metal and the plastics ones. Yeah, yeah. So that's when I developed the love for art.
And did you realize early on now when teachers were starting to recognize your art
Mm.
that you were quite a bit better than the people around you, that you had a particular skill?
Yeah. You know, Picasso once said something. It's like everyone is born an artist. So the problem is, as you grow up, you tend to neglect it. You know,
Mm.
because how I say this, it's like everyone is an artist. We all artists, you know.
Yeah.
You think like you cannot draw, but if I can teach you how to draw and then you become consistent, you do it every day, you can make a powerful piece of art, you know. So at that stage, we were at the same level when it comes to our our creativity, you know, but people just lost interest, you know. And
Yeah.
then yeah, I kept on, you know, and then I perfect my craft, you know, to a certain levels where people started recognizing like, oh, this is beautiful, you know.
And did you ever see art as something you could use to then start making money to
Survive.
become closer to those dreams you
Yeah.
had?
Aish, I wasn't sure, bro, because remember, I grew up in the villages. I've never seen somebody living, making a living out of it. But I remember my dad used to to tell me like, he would take me to school after, you know, to just to do art, cause he saw this passion and he saw the love that I had for art. So he wanted to push me, you know. Under circumstances he couldn't do that, and then yeah, but I've never seen myself. I wasn't really sure what was gonna happen, you know. I just loved it, and then I kept on doing it. uh where it was gonna lead me, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Mm.
And to where it's led you now is quite crazy. We'll get into that.
Yeah,
But there was also a stage where you were selling portraits, drawing portraits of people and selling it.
yeah, that happened the time I was in TT. So I was kind of like raising funds to buy a camera because I developed a love for photography. My dad was a photographer, by the way, you know, so it's something that I took from him. So the plan was to buy a camera, and I had no means to, you know, because I wanted to start some side hustle business while studying, you know, because yeah, so I started making a special for just 50 rands, a portrait in A4 drawing. I think I raised about 4,000 rands from that.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so that was something powerful and not easy to start in.
This podcast has been a dream come true, and I need your help in order to grow the show. If you could do the smallest favor for me, it will be easier than making a cup of coffee. Please go and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. How did you get to where you are now? I mean, for those who haven't read your story, haven't read your book, um, you now find yourself working on cruise ships
Mhm.
where it's owned by the biggest art dealer
In the world.
in the world.
Um, you know, in life, bro, I would say you meet people for a specific reason. you don't know who's gonna change your life or your story. So I met a friend while I was still studying. I was just next door to my room, so yeah, I we started getting to know each other with this dude. His name is Mboweni from Hammanskraal. So I didn't know his Tsonga. So he used to play Tsonga songs in his room. So I would hear loud music. I'm like, what's banging the other side? And then, yeah, we started getting to know each other. And then it happened. He graduated before me because I think it was a year ahead. And then, yeah, he started working on a cruise ship. I would see his titles. So I was just inspired because remember, as a kid, I've always wanted to travel, but I had no means to travel. Then now I see somebody doing it. And before that, his friend was in Russia. So this guy would come to Res, driving RS3, bro. So I was just inspired, like, this guy's traveling the world. He just came back from Russia. Now he's coming to see his friend. So we started getting to know each other, me and this dude. So yeah, so we kind of like became friends. So Mboweni, while he was traveling, I remember texting him like, bro, I see you traveling the world. Please hook us up with some opportunities if we come across one. And then he was like, you know what? You can just apply this company. And then I started applying. And funny enough, I was just trying my luck. And I remember they took about 2 days to respond. They invited me for an interview. And I wasn't ready because that time I had no passport.
Wow.
So those are those are the things that I've learned in life. Like, you must always be ready for something. I didn't get that opportunity because I didn't have the passport. And then later on, after that interview, I immediately went home to do my passport course. I wasn't working that time. So I was like, the only thing that was in my mind was to travel from there after losing that opportunity. Because I could see, like, okay, now this thing is possible. If I really want to make this happen, I should be ready as well. Yeah, around February, January, they were like, we're coming to South Africa for the first time. They came to Monte Casino to do their first recruitment in South Africa. And that's when I applied. I got the opportunity to do the interview. So it was like in-person interview. So yeah, it was a nice experience. The event there, they came, we did interview. After all, they did cocktail party. It was very beautiful, man. And I was like, I'm close to my dream now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something you weren't used to.
Something that I was not used to. Now I was starting to picture like how's this journey gonna be like. So yeah.
And now, when you got the opportunity, I feel like the reason your interview probably went well is because it aligned with a lot of the things that you were passionate about.
Yes.
So, the cruise ship that actually ended up hiring you is the biggest art dealer. It's owned by the biggest art dealer
Yeah.
in the world.
Yes. So
that fits in exactly with
true.
your passions.
True. Yeah. Because remember, I studied fine art. So as an art dealer, what we basically do, we sell the paintings for the artist that works with that company. So we do like auctions and all that. I was hired as a curator because I had an experience working at TET as a student and lecture assistant. So I'll just curate the work for the students. So during the interview, I mentioned everything that I was doing and they were impressed. So that's when I got the opportunity.
What would you say to someone who is unhappy with their current circumstances?
Pain doesn't last forever, bro. Because pain makes you grow. you know. Uh, I always associate life with the, you see that thing, the machine by the hospital. There's
Yes.
a lifeline there. It goes up, it goes down. If that thing is happening, it means there's life in that person. The person is still surviving. But if that thing becomes like ding, there's no more life. So in life, you have to go through obstacles. You have to face them. It's the ups and downs that makes you grow.
Yeah. As
You-
long as you're not flat,
Yeah, as long as it's
then you're
not
still growing.
exactly. Remember, like what I always ask myself, like even last night, bro, I was coming back home. I came across a horrible accident by Vetkopen. Bruh, it was something horrible. And then this morning I woke up, I'm like, God, I'm still here, I'm breathing. Somebody lost his life yesterday. What's the reason for this? You have to ask yourself these kind of questions. The reason God wakes you up in the morning, it means there's something special within you, you know. So that's what keeps me going.
I love that.
Yeah.
Looking at your life now,
Mm.
you had all these dreams, you've written the book, you've traveled to 32 countries in the last 9 months.
34. 34.
34 countries
Yeah.
in the last 9 months. You're now working on the cruise ships, which is owned by the biggest art dealer in the world.
Mm.
What is the most unreal to you?
The most unreal through everything that I've achieved.
I mean, if you had to put yourself now in the shoes of you as a kid, drawing the Dragon Ball Z and the Pokemon and the horses as a kid to where you are now, what do you think that kid would be most surprised about?
It feels like I'm dreaming. It feels unreal, because everything back then it seemed impossible, because I didn't even know where to start. But going to America, going to Asia, it's something that um I've always wanted to achieve. And when it finally happened, bro, it felt like I was dreaming. You know, I'm at that. I'm at this stage in my life. I feel like I've done a lot of things. Nothing really surprised me anymore. Because of the experience that I've come across in life, whether it's painful, whether it's joyful. So yeah, I mean, like it feels unreal. Nothing will just excite me anymore. That's how I feel.
Well, I think it's because you've had that resilient muscle since you've been a kid, and you always believed in yourself.
True.
And I just want to thank you for today's conversation, Vongani. I mean, thanks for reaching out. I mean, we had coffee before. You gave me a copy of your book.
Yeah.
And I just thought, how amazing is it to see, even some of the pictures of where you grew up versus now, where you're taking pictures with your sunglasses on, mates around you with a cocktail in your hand on the beach. I mean, it's a very inspiring story, and I think you're gonna inspire a lot of people to believe in themselves.